and we can start recording. Here we go. Welcome back. We're going to look at fun stuff today. What fun stuff, you might ask? No. Call me the meme farmer.
Yeah.
Doing all kinds of shit.
I've not done anything. I've been quite terrible.
Dribbled a bit.
It's fucking 3 seconds in.
We got a green
World's
screen.
ending. Yay!
Okay, joke number 1, because I'm going to just intersperse this whole video. Anytime it gets too heavy, we're going to look at the Kids Write Jokes page, because it's one of my favourite things at the moment.
It's very good.
And it's amazing. Why chickens are crazy? Because it eat lots of seeds!
Fuck. Why is this? Why are kids better at fucking everything? And the chickens with the K.
Chickens! Look at all these chickens.
Look at all those chickens.
I actually seen this about fucking 8 years ago, and it's still my favourite one.
I mean, I'm not promising you new content here.
No.
I promise
No.
laughter today.
But these are always the best ones. Like, what the... obviously, right, is it a kid in a Halloween mask, I guess?
I don't know.
Is it a school shooter fucking doubly disguising himself? Invite me to prom!
Nobody likes me because I'm so awful and unlikable. It's somehow your fault.
What's wrong with
Why
that?
don't you like me? I don't know why, but I looked at that and I was like, why is that you?
Yeah, thanks for saying that after all that shit. I'm the fucking incel, school shooting fucking...
No, it's like...
And I have stabilisers. Fucking 26.
I was thinking more along the lines of like, who's going to be there? Do I have to be there? Do I have to speak to people?
Yeah.
Like, just be natural.
It's like when you said, be here for 1, I was like, oh, fuck, okay, so 4 minutes past 1 should probably... You know, any time after 1, right, okay, 4 minutes past.
Yeah.
That was late for me.
I hate when people say things like, we're going to push that forward, we're gonna like pull that back. And I'm like, what do you mean you pull it? If you push it back, it's further away from you.
Yeah,
But
so
are
you're
you
quite a
pushing it?
visual
Yeah.
kind of person. Yeah, no, I'm the same.
Also known as an idiot to some of my friends and colleagues.
No.
Because apparently it's a very simple concept. Just say what you mean, you know?
Times always stress me out because, you know, you have that, that one friend that you just need to say to them, you know, get there 2 hours earlier before you're actually going to be there because they're that late anyway. I'm the opposite.
You know who you are because
I think
there's at least one person that's watching this that's that person.
Yeah.
And I've known you a long time.
Whereas I think if it's me, it's like, just tell her an hour later than it actually is because I'm going to be there far too far. Even when I think I'm being relaxed, like, I tried to walk down from the train station today to your house and I was like, I'm just going on a wee stroll in the fucking lovely sunshine, and before I knew it, it was just like fucking... It was fucking terrible. It's... The minute I lose focus, I'm just suddenly walking like that again. It's really bad.
I have pedestrian rage. I get
yeah.
really bad pedestrian rage.
I got like that as well, an old man.
And just like, I don't know why I think it's a good idea to go into the town. Oh, I didn't know there was going to be people here.
Do you know what's... See, the amount of just... Not that this is a bad thing, but the amount of wee old ladies that are out doing their business on a Saturday morning and they just all look the same. But then they've got the cheek to go, oh, no, our pals, they all look the same. I'm like, that's just kind of what happens. You've got the same... You have like 1 of 3 haircuts. Old women having the really, really short hair. I don't know.
It tends to be like super, super cropped and then like...
Because it's just so... It's so severe.
It is very severe.
Like, when I get to that age, I can't fucking do that. Yeah, even the older ones all have kind of one of 2 hairdos.
It's a harsh look, innit? It is a harsh look.
Probably just the war in them or something. I don't know.
I think it's just like, I think it's thinning. I think if you're thinning, then the shorter your hair, the more volume you can give it. You can do like a tighter curl and it'll give you a bit more coverage, whereas if you've got long hair, it'll be scraggly.
But
and I feel terrible for those poor women. I feel really bad.
Yeah, I mean, Joanna Lumley made the point. She was like, because old women just kind of, you just know that they're old and they all have the same look. She went, but the generations that are coming up, it's probably not going to be like that. People are actually going to maybe look a bit more individual.
I do wonder what's going to happen with the likes of our generation.
Yeah.
Because our generation, like we're at the same age. My generation.
Our
generation.
century.
Yeah. Well, I'm technically a millennial.
I am as well.
Could you guess?
I'm at the
You on
cut-off,
the-
but
you on the
you're at
cut-off?
the other cut-off, aren't you?
Yeah, like it was
Yeah.
Gen X millennial.
Yeah, so I'm just at
and
the...
you're millennial, did so.
But you're about
'Cause we're
3,000 years
special.
old, and I'm about 150, I would say.
That is something I've heard a lot in my life.
Yeah.
It's,
I wouldn't always take it as a compliment, no, just fucking
No, I
keep
don't.
yourself in check.
I don't always get. I mean, if someone's like, "Hey, you're like really old," it's not usually my first thing to go. Thank you. Fine.
You were killed in a past life.
Yeah. Oh. Past life. Past life. Honey. Past life.
Oh, honey, your Botox? Honey, I live in a frozen tube.
I'm going to actually need to go to someone about that, I think, eventually. Because I was definitely William Wallace.
Fucking Napoleon.
No, William Wallace. That's just ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
He's too far away.
No, wait. Like, I'm open to the idea of pretty much anything, because the way I believe in human existence, it's getting very deep, is
We can't do
we're all too dumb. We're all too fucking stupid to ever really understand what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Do you
Huh?
agree?
Yeah. No, I do.
So to live in absolutes to me is more ignorant than keeping an open mind.
And shooting yourself in the foot a wee bit as well.
Yeah, like it's not sitting on the fence and like, oh, I'll hedge my bets, because it's not like, oh, there's one answer or the other answer. It's like a spectrum, and you know I love a spectrum.
I feel like, though, see if you can basically go about your life and earn money, people, and you're good at school,
Yeah.
people don't care about diagnosing you with anything.
Well, that's the thing about it.
And I was good at school, and I was
Women
well
with
behaved.
women with ADHD get a shit time of it, because they're written off as just kind of a bit chatty and a bit kind of I don't know, flaky.
She's just too confident.
Maybe it's confidence. Maybe it's living in a dream world.
Maybe it's maladaptive daydreaming all your life to the point where you actually don't know how to live otherwise. Maybe you should edit that out. Ooh.
Big truths. I prefer to live in my own head than in reality.
This is probably why we've been friends for so long, and why we've been such kind of deep friends for so long, because we just sort of match up in a lot of ways that are probably mostly good.
I think we match energy, but our energy
Yeah.
doesn't come from the same place.
No.
If it did, I think that wouldn't work.
No, I mean, no, there's no way I could hang about with someone like me. And I don't really think you could hang about with someone who was just like you either. That's
No.
not really how human
I
beings
would call
work.
them out on their bullshit
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
I
that's
think
a lie.
the only thing that really matters in life is how you treat other living things, I would say.
Totally.
Everything else is just kind of decoration. Money is unfortunately very important and all that, and blah 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 blah.
We live in a society.
But when you when you're on your, I don't think anybody on their deathbed, maybe some absolute fucking like Trump will probably be on his deathbed and think about how
Battery.
he. Oh,
Sorry, we'll just start that section again.
fucking hell! This is homophobic.
You're still being recorded. You can continue your rant, and I'll do like a little, I'll put a little thing in there.
Oh no, people want the goods.
You gotta give the people what they want.
Not just a hat rack, my friend.
And we're back. I'm just gonna plug this in. I'll just be real quick.
Just gonna scoot on over here.
Scooty.
I'm gonna keep.
Scoot, scoot.
I'll keep.
Tritness, ritness, cowboy in the wild, wild west. I don't think we have enough beer. Oh, Jesus.
Would you like to tell this joke this time?
Okay. Who lives in France? Just one person, by the way. Mr. Bonjour.
He's not wrong.
C'est ça.
Où est le singe? Le singe est disparu. Le singe conduit l'autobus.
Évidemment, j'ai l'espère, mais je ne sais pas.
Je voudrais. Oh no, I forgot how to say that. 13 years of French. Where'd that get me?
Champignon. That's a fucking valid question. My mom was teaching First Holy Communion class And the kid asked her, how many communions do you have to eat before you've eaten a whole Jesus? I mean, if we're actually looking at it in the kind of, the grams, I'd say one communion is probably a gram if you're lucky. And Jesus, probably like 5'5", fucking brown Jewish guy. So he'd be what, maybe £100, £120 or something like that.
And then you have to factor in, would he be dried out? Is it like a kind of a Jesus
Yeah,
turkey?
is it like after he was resurrected or before?
Jesus turkey?
You're probably talking a good, 14,000, I would
Yeah.
say, just to...
Bethlehem biltong?
See, when I was younger, before I had Holy Communion, I used to think that the communion was Milky Buttons. And I was so excited to do my first Holy Communion, and then it tasted like fucking ass, which is very Catholic, I suppose. I need to go to the toilet, sorry.
Sorry, there you go.
My mum's been confused for a German quite a lot. And I'm like, well, I think it's just the blonde, the blue.
The
It's
Aryan.
not even really blonde, but she's just very fair. But it's basically just all Ireland. She done the 23andMe thing. It was like 3% French.
Mr.
I think the
Bonjour
rest of it was
strikes again.
fucking-
I'm just scratching Mars. How's that for ASMR?
Hey, Trixie. Do I look okay? My 3 hairs are all in place. Ah! Oh, the noise.
Oh, she's
It's like eating a banana.
Oh god, I hate that sound. This is a tweet from Dr. Jessica Eaton. My kids have 2 fish and name them Dave and Dave. I asked them how they can tell them apart, and my youngest son said, one of them is Scottish, so you pronounce his name differently. What do you say to that?
You don't. That's just categorically incorrect, though. I mean, it's not as if like dive,
Well, Dive,
dive and Dave, maybe, but
Dave and Dive, but are her sons going around going, are you going to feed Dive? Are you going
Yeah.
to feed Dave? What are you fucking... That's me, Davey! That's me, Davey boy! Me, Davey's eating all that fucking...
David.
David!
Hello, Dave.
Love that. Funny story that comes from that, actually, that's... Pet names. Pet names were always a big thing. We had so many pets growing up. Often all at the same time. I think at one count we had 9 animals living in our house of various sizes. But the names were amazing. And my sister, my little sister, who's 8 years younger than me, she was allowed to get a hamster for Christmas. That's all she wanted was a hamster for Christmas. And she's, even at that age, I mean, she was 3, I think, or just about to turn, she was just before her 3rd birthday. What are you going to call her? And I don't know. There's so many names. I go, come on, think. Well, like, what would be a nice name for a hamster? And she thought long and hard about it, and she went, Nostril.
You see the effort here, and then you see this fucking divorced dad outfit that I've fucking got on, man. So don't you fucking moan about being older, right?
I don't care about getting older.
Good.
Because if there's anything and this is going to get heavy.
Here we go. Because
So-
you're going to reappear in another life. Because it's happened up and up.
There is that. But, like, growing old is a privilege that we don't all get. We don't all get that privilege. And
Lucky bastards.
when
Sorry, you're right. Sorry.
well, I visited my gran in hospital last year or 2 years ago. She's been in and out, and she's quite elderly and she's frail, and she got COVID. She's fine at the moment. She's fine, but we were able to go in and visit, and she very sincerely looked at me and said, "Oh, Ailey, don't get old." And I looked at her sincerely and said, "I don't fancy the alternative." And she thought about it for a second and then started laughing and went, "Yeah, no, I suppose you're right.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
we're here, I from someone that I was terrified of death as a child, absolutely terrified of the concept. So much so I became very, very morbid and obsessive with it. And I think that's where a lot of like maybe people with goth aesthetic and this kind of this living in a black world, it helps you understand it better and then fear it less because it's something that you've embraced rather than something that you're running from.
This is true.
That's certainly how I think I've ended up the way I've ended up. I tried to be a normal person for a little while, tried to do the corporate thing. It was like a month around.
I was going to say, I don't remember that.
It was like 2017 or something. I don't know.
I think you're quite. Yeah. I don't think. I don't know. I just don't think you would be able to. I mean, because obviously you can put on that you're very friendly and you're very charming, but you're probably too intelligent for your own good, and you're very quickly going to make people realise, well, this is what I'm about.
People hate me. Shocker. Shocker.
I
know.
wouldn't know.
Oh no, I'm so self-aware as well. Like I trust.
Same.
If you're sitting there going, I don't know who this bitch is, but she's getting on my lap. Oh, I know. And I don't intend to. This whole like I've mentioned, and I will continue to mention this fucking voice. I know. I live with it. It comes out of me. I hate it.
I know.
But at the same time, I've had to eventually accept the fact this is part of who I am, and I do have to prove to other people, especially in this city, that I'm not a total wanker. Sometimes I am.
Isn't everybody?
Yeah, I sometimes feel like a fraud.
What, because you like mirror people? Yeah, I do that as well.
It sometimes makes me like I'll catch myself doing it, and I'm like, am I being manipulated? Like, am I manipulating right now? I don't know.
I do think there's a difference between being a full-blown narcissist and just having this kind of need to just, not even for people to like you, but just the need to not have conflict. I mean, you can't speak for everyone, because obviously there are some people out there who are just absolute evil bastards, but generally speaking, parents aren't trying to fuck you up.
No.
They're dealing with their own, because they're just human beings, and I mean, a lot of the time, I mean, I know my parents were like my age when they had me, which is, to me, I know I'm 26, that's not really young, really, for a parent, but I do think it is young.
It's nowadays.
No. I think it's insane.
I think it's young, because so many people are waiting till they're like well into their 30s.
Yeah, I mean, just, no.
The number of people that aren't having kids at all because they can't afford it.
And it's kind of having to step back and think, right, most of the time they are trying just to fucking provide for you and just make sure you're okay. And so, but sometimes maybe that becomes too much of their priority, like physical safety. And are they fed? Are they clothed? Are they okay? Versus maybe just talk to them, see how they are. Are they struggling in school or something? You know, that's where I think people can kind of miss the mark a bit.
And then you have...
And that causes issues.
And then you have...
That's why we're doing this, bitch.
Get back in here and love me!
I think I've just accepted that it's
never gonna happen. No, it will happen.
I don't want it to. Fuck off. No, you like me? Why? But fucking creep.
You'd think that given my confidence and success with the opposite and same-sex and other...
Other? Oh, like non-binary? I thought you meant animals.
Nope.
Right, sorry. What was...
You would think that given my my sort of success when it comes to dating, we'll just ignore a big chunk of my 20s there.
Well, I mean, you know, in a way, we wouldn't have met, so
True.
that's probably...
Well, yeah.
Is me.
It's like when people are like, oh, the marriage was terrible, but at least I have my kids. That's my kid.
Hello.
Stop disconnecting. I will end you.
I don't. What?
Captain Howdy, do you think my mom's
That would be
pretty?
a vulgar display of power, Karis.
I'd love to be able to do that voice. Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
Not done that before.
Thank you.
You know what's amazing about her though? The woman that done the voice,
Mercedes
McCambridge.
Yeah.
Had like 3 priests that she knew, like who were basically friends. She had around her the entire time filming, and would go and meet them after every session, even if it was just to have a drink or whatever. And she would do confession. Like she was properly quite. She was very wary about it.
As a non-religious, non-Catholic, non-believer,
Binary.
but as a non-believer, if I was involved in a film like that, I'd probably still be superstitious enough to be like, just in case.
Yeah, I mean, because
I'm just gonna get
obviously the film's very much about like God wins in the end. It's actually quite a conservative film when you really think about it. But
the church endorsed it.
yeah, the church were like, well, because God wins. Not only does the priest fucking saves the wee girl
Yes.
and sacrifices himself and everything.
Self-sacrifice.
It's very
Oh.
yeah. But that's I think sometimes when you say to people you believe in ghosts and stuff, I've actually had people say to me, but I thought you weren't religious.
Ghosts aren't religious.
No, but I think people
Yeah.
see it as the same, like, oh, it's the afterlife, and they see it in all this very kind of wee box, and it's like, well, no.
That's a really odd way of looking at it.
I think it's much more. I know I have had that, like, but you don't believe in God, so why would you believe in that? Well, because they're both just made up. They're both just folklore. And so, no, one is very much guy in the sky, and the other one's like, well, no, that fucking lamp just got thrown across the room, or the fireplace just got ripped out of the wall. This wee girl was speaking with the fucking voice of a 65-year-old man who's been dead for fucking 15 years. That's a bit different.
My name's Bill. My name is Bill Wilkins, and I'm 72 years old.
You know? And maybe in 100 years' time, people will go, oh, it was actually all this.
Yeah. Right.
Which is fair enough.
That's where I fall into the category of I'm staying open-minded. I've had so many experiences you wouldn't believe. But if you can take all those things and explain to me in a scientific, logical way how and why that happened, I'll accept it.
I think my theory is that there is science behind it, but it's still supernatural. Because I feel like the poltergeist thing, maybe that this idea that there's leftover energy from people, surely that's just really, really complex physics that we haven't got to
There is a very
wrap our heads around
I
yet.
can't remember who said it, but there's like a fine line between physics and magic. Ta-da.
Magic is just the fictionalization of science.
A few moments later.
Only the crumbliest, tastiest chocolate.
Lasagna! I've had 2 beers.
Before I had kids, I thought I had a great immune system. But it turns out I was just really good at staying away from the type of people who sneeze directly into your eyeballs while telling you a story.
This is true. I love that thing when kids do that. This is the kind of shit I would believe in as a kid. So, opens bottle of bleach. Nephew, how did you open it? I tried, but it didn't open. Me, oh, it's because it has a child safety lock. Children can't open it. Nephew looks on in amazement. How did it know I was a child? And that's the sort of thing, I could be fooled by that as a
For sure.
Is there anything like you believed as a kid?
I thought Dean Martin was a family friend of my gran and granddad.
That's really sweet.
Purely, I think, because there was a CD. You know, you got those CDs out the paper. They used to collect them. Maybe they were talking about a friend that died, and I thought, oh, you mean Dean Martin?
Dean Martin, yeah.
So yeah, it was that.
It's funny how you get like these ideas in your head as a kid, and it just sticks with you. I thought, like, my idea of sex, when people would only refer to it as sleeping together. So I thought that you could get pregnant if you were sleeping next to somebody, and that's when it happened. Like
Well, that makes sense.
your body's just kind of like.
Like fish.
I thought it would happen in a more.
Osmosis type of way.
Yeah, I thought you just kind of like merged cells or something.
Clear.
So when I was actually beyond that age at this point, my dad didn't know that. Sorry, Dad. But he tried to have a very stern talk with me, a very straight down the middle, you're my eldest daughter kind of talk, and I mean, it's just not worth it, is it? I mean, in out, and then you're pregnant. And I went, really? Is that how long it lasts for you?
So how long were you trucked out the house for?
Oh no, I killed me. I'm dead. I've been dead since that moment. I'm a ghost. I know someone that was like this. So this at Tragic Alley here says, I bought my son a book about bats, and halfway through he shouted out, "What? Bats are real?" All this time he thought they were made up for Halloween like ghosts and witches.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
I knew someone at high school who had this conversation went like this. So, you know, like reindeer, you know how they're made up, like penguins. Sorry, what? Well, you know how they're like reindeer, they're made up because it's like they pull Santa's sleigh. Yeah, like penguins are made up too, right? Like reindeer. That was high school. That was late high school. She wasn't like 6. It was like 16.
Fucking
I'm like, but you've been to the zoo. You have seen the penguins. You saw the penguin parade at Edinburgh Zoo.
And reindeer are real.
Yeah, but the fact she was just like, yeah, with animatronics.
That's going to be the next conspiracy now.
Telling you.
Are penguins even real? They're not just like,
Well,
GPS trackers?
Well, birds were replaced.
The birds work for the bourgeoisie.
At Exploding Unicorn says, we went into the basement for a tornado. My 3-year-old thought we were hiding from a tomato. Honestly, that scared her even more. And honestly,
I can understand
same.
that. Just this big ominous potato ever slowly moving towards you.
Potato?
Tomato.
Tomato,
It's
potato,
been like
tomato,
4.5 beers
potato.
in. I've not eaten a lot. I'm sorry. I'm a big fat fucking mess.
This is a good one. At Junie Manel says, I thought women had their periods forever. When my first period stopped, I assumed the neighbour's dog impregnated me when I pet him. For a month, I believed myself to be a half-human, half-dog baby. This story is brought to you by Ontario Catholic School Sex Ed in the 90s.
Jesus. Initially, I thought it was going to be one of those, like incel kind of posts, like, that is. His mother was a jackal.
I mean, never had anything like that?
No. No, there's a whole charity that's been set up now, and it was back in the Victorian era. Some priest or bishop, I've never read details, but basically a young girl, about 8 or something like that, had a period, didn't know what it was, and thought somehow that it was a bad thing, that it was a sin, and she killed herself. And they found out that this had happened, and then this priest there set up a charity to basically try and ensure that it would never happen again. So, education for young girls, particularly, Catholic children and things like that.
It's very carry.
Yeah. But that's the thing, I mean, most horror films, if you look at them hard enough, it's like, oh yeah, there's something like that kind of probably happened or worse.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that happened in the maybe early 1900s, late 1800s. That's obviously, that's funny, but it's rooted in something much, much darker. Anyway.
At Daz Inc. said, I thought Michael Jackson has to stop whatever he's doing and sing when I play his CD. As a result, I never played it at night to give him some family time.
That is the most unintentionally layered, sinister fucking thing I've ever read in my life. It's his fault. If he'd have just played the CD, he wouldn't have abused those boys.
Next me!
Thanks for your fucking input. Fucking prick.
Okay. This one you're gonna like. At Trina Del...
Katrina. Alright, okay, you're doing that.
Trina Delgren. Yeah, I think that's the name.
Delgren.
While my sister brags at Thanksgiving about getting her PhD in quantitative microbiology, I'm going to be thinking about this time we took a bath together. I was 2, she was 5. I pooped in the tub, and she played with it because she thought it was brown Play-Doh. Not so smart then, were ya? I love a bit of sibling rivalry. This has turned into a mukbang now because we're fast becoming inebriated.
Quantitative microbiology? What the hell is that?
I'll tell you what it isn't, and that's English lit. Some targeted advertising. It's a calendar of pooping cats. Amazon thought I would like.
They know you.
How do they know what I'm searching up on Pornhub? To break up the seriousness. Would you like to do the honours or shall I?
Knock knock. Who's there? Alright, well we do it.
Oh,
like
do it
that.
now.
Yeah. Knock knock.
Who's there?
A cow.
Okay, come in.
Oh man. Only a kid. Only a kid could come up with
I love it.
that. Okay, cow.
Okay, come in. Like, knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupt.
How do you cook an elephant?
You don't. Leave it alone, please.
Sound advice. Do you have a flag? No, I only have a poo umbrella.
You even asked that question. Do you have a
Do you
flag?
have a flag? Apart from Eddie Izzard, I've never heard anyone say, do you have a flag?
I claim India for Britain. And they go, you can't claim us, we live here. 500 million of us. Do you have a flag?
Well, this is ours now.
Oh,
No, I only have a poo umbrella. Which,
my
honestly,
face is sore.
which is like pretty much the same thing in some cultures.
Oh.
Every day we
Is
stray.
this
a
empty so I
little.
can be sick in it?
Every day
That's
we stray further from God.
That's not real. Mayonnaise. Birthday cake mayonnaise. Right, so it's got sprinkles in it. Maybe what? Maybe it's
What was that noise?
maybe it's like a sweet, like a like a whipped cream something. No, it's not because it says mayonnaise. So it. No.
I love that this is breaking you.
I wonder where they found that.
America! Fuck yeah!
Just think of the crunch though. Like the wee horrible concentrated bits of
It would be
amongst
like
all
a,
the smooth jizz.
come to Walmart, we've got titty milk.
You just missed the fucking jizz jar.
It's my boyfriend's here, everybody. You like this one. You like this one because you have dogs.
Yes. What do dogs call Italy? Dog tilly.
What do dogs call Italy?
What? We just said it. Wait.
What? Nothing, they're dogs.
Oh.
How about when there is a silly man? Like kids' jokes that sound like John Mulaney.
Took place. Murfreesboro. It was, I think it was named by a dying Confederate general as he barely sat up in bed eating mashed potatoes. And his grandson was like, Pappy, you gotta name the town. And he was like, Murfreesboro. They're like, put it on the sign.
Enzo says, fun fact, blueberries are the only fruit named after a colour. Utada says, starfruit? So close! That is a shake. Well, we forgot to film an outro for this one because we were already half cut. So we would like to thank you for joining us, and I hope you learned something. And if you would like to, then you may subscribe, and you may like this video, or punch a passing granny in our name.
I would really rather that you did the latter.
Yes, we all would. Hail Satan, and love from BuzzFeed. Bye!